my goodness, it is 5 o'clock on Friday. We are here for another edition of District Spotlight. Thank you so much for my professorial pointer here. Today is an unbelievable episode of District Spotlight. Why is it unbelievable? Because we have the legend, the one, the only Masta Ace is in the building.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, were you born to roll?
Was I what?
Were you born to roll?
I was absolutely born to roll. I was rolling in my mama's belly before anyone even knew what was going on. Okay, so let me just tell you, today we have an unreal show. Not only is our guest Masta Ace, not only do we have all of these incredible records and videos and everything to honor Masta Ace today on the show, but we are also at the end of the program unboxing 2 gold RIAA plaques, one for Wolf and Sheep's Clothing, Black Sheep, and the other one for Diggable Planet's Reachin', both of their first albums. So stay tuned until the very end of the program. And without further ado, I am going to do something, okay, that I never do, which is unbox something first.
That is true.
Okay?
That is true.
Now, I never unbox things first, but the good people at True Heads Clothing, check them out at trueheadsclothing.com, and that's heads with a Z. Everything is spelled traditionally. True Heads Clothing, heads with a Z. The good people at True Heads Clothing shipped us a custom item, custom piece of headwear for the museum. And I saw this headwear first on Tony Smith. Tony Smith, of course, is Jay Dilla's stepdad,
correct,
married to Ma Dukes, and my good friend of like over 20 years.
Very good,
and
brother.
let me just show you before I put it on. Look at this unbelievable Kangol.
I'm bad.
A la LL Cool J, but we couldn't just have a regular Kangol in the building. Nope. We had to have it customized by the good people at
awesome.
True Heads Clothing.
That's awesome.
True Heads, heads with a Z, clothing.com. And isn't it great that their letters are THC, that they're,
True, yeah,
you know,
correct.
Right?
Cool.
Okay, so I will be donning this all program long, and not only that, but my boy over at True Heads is the man, because he also included 3 unopened packs of Yo MTV Raps.
Which they are bringing back, by the way.
Unreal. True Heads, go to their site, get yourself a customized hat. And let me tell you, their snapbacks are just as cool, if not cooler, depending on what your style is. Okay, we had to get the Kangol. Anyways, we have a big show.
Dope.
I know, thank you. It is
Can
dope.
I touch it? Is it velvet?
It is. It's velvet.
I love
yes,
it.
it's lovely. Okay, here we go. Quickly, we're getting right into, okay, you went to the unboxings. Incredible. Now go back to Today in Hip Hop, because it is Today in Hip Hop. Today in Hip Hop, 30 years ago, arguably one of the greatest and most influential hip hop albums of all time, Public Enemy's It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back was released, and there's pretty much no argument that that album shaped the course of hip-hop and even politics.
Yeah, politics. Yeah, that's where I was going with it most.
Okay, so shout out to Chuck D, a good friend of the station and the studio and the museum, and that incredible album that was released 30 years ago today. Another cool thing that came out just yesterday, a couple days ago, is a new song and video from MF Doom, DJ Muggs, and Freddie Gibbs. It's called Death Wish. Without further ado, let's take a little look.
That sounds hot.
Yeah, well, anything MF Doom to me is cool. So let's check out the new track.
Strong for tugging spirits. Guess everything is fair in love and lust and lyrics. Kind of fed seeing suckers hide behind the bread, to the point that the hammer be behind the head. Fire kid, hang cocky sense of power, think they running shit. By the hour, dissipating into nothingness. Villain up in this bitch with a bottle is empty. It won't go to waste, zero empathy.
you're just tuning in, that was the new track Death Wish from MF Doom, DJ Muggs, and Freddie Gibbs. I am Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision Studios, with my DJ, the one, the only...
B-Dub the Boy Wonder.
B-Dub, I was like so excited at the beginning, I forgot to even say who we are and what we're doing.
It's all gravy. I mean... all of our regular listeners should know, so it's okay.
All of our regular listeners know what's going on.
It's no problem.
And today is a really special show because our guest today is Masta Ace, and we're getting through just a little bit of today in hip-hop. So without further ado, we also want to let you know about two of the members and leaders of the new school have reunited to create How We Like It. Okay, so Dinko D and C. Boogie Brown, I guess formerly Charlie Brown, okay, and that is out now, and it has a music video as well. How We Like It from 2 of 4 or 2 of 5, I think, leaders of the new school. Okay. In other news, you won't fucking believe this, bro. Havoc sampled a stove turning on for the Shook Ones Part 2 hi-hats. No.
Oh shoot,
bro.
So that's the old school stove. It wasn't the gas stove.
Everyone's familiar with Shook Ones Part 2 and how that track starts, right?
Correct.
Okay, with that sample and then just the hi-hats. Well, he says, I was just in the projects, you know? Broke as fuck on some, I just gotta make some shit. The stove inspired me. I was like, yeah, let me throw this into a beat.
Definitely high.
Do we have the real hip-hop?
But I like that.
Get
that's
that
basically
queued,
what
queued up.
It's.
That's as real as it gets.
You want it now?
Give it to me.
The real hip-hop! The real hip-hop!
That's basically what that is. What is it again?
I believe it is.
The real hip-hop!
Okay.
It's so real, it shook the ground.
And you just dropped some of the real hip-hop.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God, sorry.
We saved it. We got it.
Oh my God.
All right.
It's getting serious in here. Wait. I gotta. All right. There we go. Okay. More today in hip hop. Oh my God. Funk Master Flex declared himself the best DJ in New York City, and let me tell you something, it did not sit well. It didn't sit well with Kid Capri, who most would agree is the best DJ in New York City. And he responded by saying, New York hates you, and unfollow Funk Master Flex. Let's hear just a little piece of what Capri was telling Flex on IG.
Flex, did you say this is how it looks when a DJ falls off? You're a strip club DJ, bro. Look at my timeline and all the flyers and all the cities I'm in and the countries I'm in. You look at that, all right? You look at that. I'm not chasing no New York City parties like y'all niggas tripping over parties, B. Understand, when I come to New York, it's special. Let's get it right, all right? When I come, I shake shit. Let's get it right. I don't get talked about like I was whack like you do. You suck, nigga. You know you suck. Now you want to take it further? Talk about when you fucked. This is what it looked like when DJs fell off.
Yo, it got real serious to the point where Capri had to whip out his Gucci crown.
Oh shit!
Literally a crown made out of Gucci leather.
But Kid doesn't have anything to prove though. Nothing to prove.
Well, everyone just is like, Flex, why?
Why would you do that?
Don't do that. Okay, let's quickly finish this up. Last week I was at Rakim's Tiny Desk concert.
Yes.
They've now finally released that on their site, so you can go to npr.org and watch the full concert, which includes a brand new track from the Luke Cage series. What else? Saturday, August 4th, Bobbito is coming back here to the district to host Sneak Attack DC, where you can sell or trade your sneakers with other enthusiasts, browse through exclusive collections from the area's best vendors, or find those kicks you've been searching for, experience art installations, interactive DJ sets, delicious food and drink, along with special guests and surprises. That's August 4th, so it's on Facebook. Go find it. Now, quickly before we Skype in Masta Ace, I want to tell you something. If you invest in someone's career or someone invests in your career and it makes you who you are and transforms your life, motherfucker, pay that money
Do the
back.
right thing, please.
Pay the money. Pay the man, okay? Dame Dash loaned Lee Daniels $2 million to make Precious and get his writing, directing career off the ground, but Mr. Daniels never paid it back. Multiple lawsuits and almost 10 years later, and this is what things have come to. Check out this video, and right on the other side of this break, we will have the one, the only, Masta Ace.
I know there's usually a curfew here that tell you to get off the stage, but here's what. I broke my ankle. That's why I couldn't move around, guys. Could you see I couldn't move? I was
Facebook, on
Right,
from
so
Facebook
I want to move the
Hip Hop
energy in the
Museum.
room right now. I want everybody hands in the air. We're going to reach out and touch with this beautiful, incredible orchestra. Okay? Reach out and touch. Hands in the air, everybody. Move the energy. Move it around. Hey. And sing with me if you know the words. Come on. Reach out and touch. I know there's usually a curfew here that tell you to get off the stage, but here's what. I broke my ankle. That's why I couldn't move around, guys. Did you see I couldn't move? I was doing lots of hand movement. I did it again. I was playing with my grandkids and I broke my ankle. Okay. All right, so I want to move the energy in the room right now. I want everybody hands in the air. We're going to reach out and touch with this beautiful, incredible orchestra. Okay? Reach out and touch. Hands in the air, everybody. Move the energy. Move it around.
And if you're just tuning in, I'm Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision, and you're here with me and my DJ, the one, the only.
Beat up the boy wonder.
And now with us live from his car as he drives, the legend from Brownsville, Masta Ace. How are you, sir?
What's going on?
Yeah, round of applause! Round of applause! Woo! We got a big in-studio audience here for you, and on the set, you might not be able to see, but we have sitting on chrome, signed by yourself in 2004. We have Jeep Ass, I Can't Say the Rest, I Am White, and Marley Marl's. Drop the bomb. Marley Marl's, record that featured your very first single, The Symphony, where everybody, figured out who you were. But more than anything else, you are from Brooklyn. And right away, before we ask you anything else, what effect did Brooklyn itself have on you as a human being?
Well, a huge effect. I mean, we're talking about not just Brooklyn, but specifically Brownsville, the housing project that I grew up in, Howard houses, but that whole entire neighborhood just completely populated by housing projects. Everywhere you turned, every block you went, you would walk into another housing project, another group of young people that had different energy. And so, just growing up around all that energy, and I walked a lot of those streets and went in and out of a lot of those housing projects to see what we call jams, guys playing music out in the park, and just walking to different housing projects and altercations and things like that happening. I mean, all of that shaped, who I am and who I became. It's really because of that reason that I grew up kind of believing that you don't go to other people's housing projects.
So I am from New York, and my father is from Bed-Stuy, and we are not just, the Hip Hop Museum with the largest collection of hip hop memorabilia in the world, but we also use this show and this platform to educate some of the younger folks just about the history of hip hop and preserving the culture. I want to let everyone know now. Here's a quick list of some of the top MCs from Brooklyn. This list is AZ, Big Daddy Kane, Busta Rhymes, Buckshot, Chubb Rock, Nas, OC, Jay-Z, Old Dirty Bastard, Mos Def, Raekwon, RZA, Sean Price, J. Rue, Masta Killa, MC Lyte, Milk D, You God, Biggie, Talib Kweli, Fab Five Freddy, Special Ed, Lil Kim, Jazzo, Shock G, Jizza, Trucoy, Tech, Steel, Just Ice, and Ladybug Mecca, whose gold award RIAA plaque we will be unboxing at the end of the program for the Hip Hop Unboxing. What do you think of that list?
That's nice. That's nice. You didn't say my name, though.
Oh, it goes without saying. I mean, it goes without saying. You are our favorite. Okay, and the reason why you're our favorite is because you have a humble sensibility that has always been maybe lacking in hip-hop. And I think a lot of your career, you've made a lot of fans and a lot of positive impressions because you've kept it, so real, and you weren't trying to be like crazy and gangsta and saying things that weren't true. Tell me, what effect did Marley Marl have on your career?
Well, I mean, for me, Marley was the gatekeeper. Marley was the person that allowed me into this business, who gave me, my hall pass, if you will, to step into the game. It was really on his shoulders that I was able to step into the game, because without his name behind what I was doing, perhaps nobody would have cared or listened. So definitely that, and I definitely was a student of what he did in the studio. I paid close attention to everything that he did, asked a lot of questions, and I picked up a bunch of tips about mixing records and editing records and things of that nature that I applied to my career once I moved on.
So we have some incredible interns here that did some really great digging, and for the last 4 or 5 hours, we've been intensely doing research, trying to find as much as we could, and cram it into this quick little show. Tell me a little bit about the USA roller skating rink and how that connected you with Marley Marl.
Well, that's a huge part of my story. USA out in Queens, New York, they had a rap contest, and it was free to enter, but the day that I entered, there was about 35 other artists that entered that same day. And it was by virtue of winning that contest that I got the opportunity to record with Marley Marl. Studio time with Marley Marl. Second prize was $500, and to be honest with you, at the time, I thought the second prize looked a little better. But who knew that 6 hours would turn into a career?
So, in those 6 hours that you won, do you recall what tracks you recorded?
You mean when I first walked into his studio?
Yeah, like with that actual time, like I suspect you actually, obviously used that time. Like, were those tracks that made any albums or ever got released, or did you just create like demos in those 6 hours you won?
I recorded songs that never got heard. He played one on the air, a song called Howard Park. He played that on the air like one time ever, and I have a recording of that one time that he played it. And I recorded another song called Power Move that never saw the light of day either.
We think that might be a really compelling audio-visual piece to go with your assets here at the museum. What do you think about helping us trying to get a copy of those early demos you've recorded? What do you think of that?
I don't have Power Move. Well, I shouldn't say I don't have it. It's on a random cassette somewhere in a giant box of cassettes. And I have about 3 boxes of those cassettes filled up to the top.
Wow.
So that would take quite a bit of digging, but I do have an MP3 of the Howard Park debut and the one time that he played it on the radio on WLVS back in, must have been 89, I guess.
Wait, so why would he be, so if you debuted in 88, why would he be playing it in 89? Just to kind of do a little throwback, this is where the guy came from?
Well, so I first walked into his studio in 1988, right after I graduated from college. That was the first time that I set foot in his studio. And so while people would say that I came out in 88, that's because of the records that they know about. In other words, the records that were on Marley Marl and Control on the compilation album. But previous to that album dropping, he would take a demo or a joint that wasn't quite mixed or finished, and he would just throw it out and play it during his show just to see what the reaction would be. But those records never really saw the light of day.
What do you think it was that made him take enough of a liking to you to put you on the symphony?
That's a good question. I can only imagine that it was just what I had recorded up to that point. because I was beyond the 6 hours, and he was still asking me to come back.
So
that was a good sign.
That was a good sign. And in fact, let me, remember, we're in a room full of many people under the age of 30. So let me just explain to everybody that Masta Ace, to the public, we think he came out in '88 with a song he was featured on called "The Symphony," which is part of the Juice Crew, and the Juice Crew was Craig G, Cool G Rap, and Big Daddy Kane, and obviously it was produced by Marley Marl and Masta Ace. Wait a second. Wasn't Roxanne? Wait. We got Roxanne Shante. I'm leaving out as well. Okay.
Yeah, you're leaving out MC Shan, Biz Markie.
Okay, MC Shan and Biz Markie. Okay, so that's a really big collective, and at that time, Cold Chillin' was pretty much running shit in New York. What was it like to all of a sudden start chopping it up and being affiliated with artists that had already been, semi-established and in the game and pressing up vinyl? Like, what type of boost did that give you at the time?
Well, I will say, at that when I recorded, the day I recorded the Symphony, only really MC Shan was a household name. Biz Markie somewhat, but Biz hadn't even really dropped an album yet. Kane hadn't dropped an album yet, so it wasn't like these guys were like these big stars that
they became. They hadn't become that yet.
They hadn't really popped the way they were eventually gonna pop. They hadn't popped yet. But Bismarck was known because he did shows all over New York all the time, and he had like one single out or a couple. He had the Def Fresh Crew with Shantae. Maybe one other song was out. But Kane only had Just Rhyming with Biz, and Get Into It. He didn't have an album yet. He was working on an album. The album's probably close to being done, but it wasn't out yet.
Have you seen the Roxanne Shante biopic by any chance?
Oh, absolutely. I went to the debut here in New York City.
What was your reaction to that? If you had just a kind of short summation of what you thought of the movie?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was just a great testament to who she was and what she was and how she was. And I didn't know her at the time when that movie takes place. I hadn't met her yet, so
right.
It was an opportunity for me to get some insight into, what she had gone through as a young girl growing up in Queensbridge projects. I mean, I heard some of the stories, obviously along the years, but there was definitely stuff in there that I didn't know about.
Were there any other MCs that you were rolling with at the time, with the Juice Crew or anyone at Cold Chillin' that also had like college degrees like yourself?
I don't know if anybody else had. Well, I don't know if anybody else had a college degree. I know Jizza rather, the Genius. I believe he was enrolled, or I know he's a really smart guy. I feel like he went to college too, but I'm not. He got down a little bit later, like 90, 91, something like that.
So, and I apologize because I'm sure, some of these questions or some of the stuff we're going over, you've gone over so many times in past interviews. But the reason why we ask you these questions is not just because of your iconic status, but simply because we want to really preserve this information and your history and trajectory for the young folks. I think someone like yourself who went to, URI, right? University of Rhode Island?
Correct, yes.
I mean, I think that's really inspirational, and it shows that you don't have to choose. Like you can get a degree and you can be massively successful in music. You don't have to necessarily drop out to pursue it. What type of effect has what you learned in college had on your career? Have you brought any of that to your career?
Well, I was definitely I was a marketing major, so when I got my second deal, not my first deal, because I didn't have much say in how my first album was marketed. I didn't have much say in any of it. But when I got my second deal with Delicious Vinyl in 1993, they actually allowed me to give input, and I got more involved in what the artwork was going to look like, what the logo was going to look like. I was like hands-on, like every step of the way, trying to brand myself in a certain way or brand the album in a certain way. And so that was my first time getting to kind of use some of the things that I learned, in my marketing major. I got to use those things for the first time ever.
So did you have any input in that Slaughterhouse logo that's on the cover of that album?
Oh, absolutely. That was kind of conceived by me, inspired by the Cypress Hill logo that they had on their first album. I was a big Cypress Hill fan at that time, and they were a huge influence on that album. You can hear it when you listen to it.
Yeah, when you watch the show back later, I think what you'll see on our stage is we have a couple shirts on our stage by a local fashion designer, Montu Mitchell, who has taken all of the iconic logos of hip hop and put them all over a shirt, from Yours to Gangstar to BDP, and I really just think it's fascinating that there's the Juice Crew logo. It's fascinating that folks like yourself, really have the foresight and knowledge that people need some sort of imagery, some sort of logo to attach to. We've done different stuff with Chuck D, who himself is a graphic designer, and totally understood the value of that. This being the 30th anniversary of It Takes a Nation of Millions, that type of stuff was really iconic, and we think that your album art and your music always had an incredible appeal. So hearing that you have a marketing background makes a lot of sense.
No, thank you. I definitely got a chance to use it and apply it. I wish I could have used it more, but...
Well, the logo we're talking about actually right now, I'm not paying attention, but this is the logo. I'm pointing at it right now on the screen, and everyone can kind of see right on the single of Jeep Ass N-Word is this incredible logo, which has really stood the test of time. And we see you got Juice Crew T-shirts on your site. We're making a request that you also get some shirts with this logo because we think that's so dope.
I did do shirts with the Masta Incorporated, the original logo, but I didn't use that star that's associated with it. But I did use the old font. I do have shirts with the old font.
Well, speaking of that single, I wanted to ask you, that song kind of taunts, at the time is taunting or poking, fun at police officers for their knee-jerk predisposition to harass black youth in inner cities. So our question is, if you had to do a part 2, which, by the way, we think is totally appropriate these days, if you had to do a part 2 of Jeep Ass N-Word, how would it be different, and what would you mention about what's happening now?
I think that it probably would end in a shooting or tasing, based on what I see today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But do you have any statements or someone who kind of was talking about this topic, years before it got the attention that it's now getting? It's the subject matter hasn't changed, just the attention on the matter has changed. What would do you have any statement you'd like to make about police violence and brutality that we constantly seeing?
Well, it's interesting to me that at the time when that stuff was going on in the 70s, well, I don't have to say 60s. The 60s go without saying, but the 70s and 80s and 90s, when the middle America they thought that people were exaggerating. They couldn't believe that police officers who were sworn to serve and protect could possibly be behaving in this manner. And all we wanted was for people to see it for themselves, but there was no way for them to see it for themselves. And now we have this great invention, the camera phone, that now brings it all right to our doorsteps. And now we can see it firsthand, and still no outrage from the middle of America. And that says volume. That speaks volumes about how people feel about people of color in this country.
Yeah. One of the great directors of our time that's been able to encapsulate police brutality and many, many different issues that face the black community is Spike Lee. And if people don't know, Masta Ace is 1/3 of the Crooklyn Dodgers, the original Crooklyn Dodgers. which was formed for the release of Spike Lee's movie Crooklyn, which is right here on our set, along with Special Ed, Buckshot of Black Moon, Masta Ace, recorded the title track of the album soundtrack. Our question is, what was it like recording that song and working with Q-Tip, Michael Jordan, and Mike Tyson?
I mean, I didn't work with Michael Jordan or Mike Tyson, but they were in the video, I know. I mean...
Q-Tip produced the beat, though, correct?
Yeah, Q-Tip and Ali Shaheed.
Yeah.
A great opportunity to work with. I mean, I looked up to Tribe a lot. I thought those guys were great. I loved their music. I played their music constantly. It definitely had an influence on the music that I was making and writing. And to be asked to be one of 3 MCs from Brooklyn, especially when the list of Brooklyn MCs is so extensive.
Right.
You just named them all. So, I mean, to be asked to be a part of that was a great honor. And, you know, Tip, he's told me in the past that some of my early work was stuff that he used to listen to. So I think that was why my name kind of came up. But just a great experience, you know, to record with those guys, to be in the room with Spike Lee, to get a chance to see the Crooklyn movie before it hit theaters, just so that we could be inspired for our lyrics, because people don't know this, but our original, what you hear as the song Crooklyn wasn't the original song, wasn't the original lyrics.
Really?
We recorded a completely different version of lyrics, and when Spike heard it, he's like, it's cool, but it doesn't really speak to the movie. So he held a private screening for maybe about 20 people, including the artists and the producers, and then he said, go back now and write something that speaks to what this movie is about in the time, in the 70s. He was very clear on what he wanted the music to communicate. So we went back and rewrote our verses, and that's the song that you hear and know.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Learn something new every day, right?
Yeah, that's wow. Everyone's kind of speechless here in the studio. You know,
and somewhere in that box of
cassettes
that I talked about exists the original version of
Is it over the same beat, or was the beat different?
Same beat, just different lyrics.
And what do you think about parts 2 and part 3?
Well, part 2 is dope. I use that beat sometimes in my show. DJ Premier killed that. What's part 3 though? I'm not familiar with part 3. Crooklyn 3.
I don't have the list in front of me, but I know Most Def is one of them. I'll try to get that to you. I think it was done in like 2007. But our research, yeah. In fact, that's one of the things you guys have in common. I know this is a weird connection, but I was just at NPR the other day for Rakim's Tiny Desk, and we know that you had, this incredible Tiny Desk, and you performed Crooklyn Dodgers on your Tiny Desk. But am I correct in remembering that you actually performed it over the premiere beat, or no? Did you perform it over the original beat?
I didn't perform that on my Tiny Desk.
Oh, you didn't perform that?
Nah.
Well, speaking of Ali Shaheed Muhammad, guess who was playing bass for Rakim when he did his...
I saw that.
How crazy is that? So, Adrian Young, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, Kingfish, and I think that was the director of Luke Cage on drums plus horns. You guys have... Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, and OC, I think, murdered your Tiny Desks. What was your experience like?
Oh, I loved it. Big shout to the band. Lee Hogan's and the Pursuants. Those guys, they also backed me for my performance at the world famous Blue Note, like a month or so previous to that Tiny Desk. And those guys do a great job of bringing those songs to life in a different way with live instrumentation. So shout to those dudes.
Well, speaking of live instrumentation and well, at least an organic sound, that is, you have so many classic albums, and Disposable Arts is clearly one of them. Everyone loves that album, and it became one of the most acclaimed underground hip-hop releases of 2001, beloved for its pure hip-hop style and clever album concept, which served as a fictional story chronicling your time spent at a satirical rap school named the Institute of Disposable Arts. Our question is, do you think that institute has grown in size since 2001?
Has it grown in size? You mean the?
Like, are there more students? Are there more disposable rap students? Are there more disposable rappers?
I mean, there's definitely a lot more disposable music than when I first coined that phrase. We're I mean, now that the digital age has blown up the way that it has, we're truly in the age of disposable music, because you know, you have young artists, young aspiring artists who literally drop a song a day for like 3 months straight, like, and they just keep dropping joints, and hopefully they I think the idea is to have volume, get as many clicks as possible. Like, the more music you throw out, the better. And I come from a time where, you know, you made that music, you slow cooked it. You made sure that it was right. You made sure that the right songs and the right lyrics and the right choruses all came together for the right album. And it wasn't just about cranking out joints as fast as possible.
Do you think that has something to do with your longevity?
I like to think so. The way I've approached my craft, the way I've approached music, the way I've approached my lyrics, I think those are the reasons that it's resonated with a lot of real core fans that continue to follow me and continue to support the records that I drop.
In 2009, you joined forces with definitely my favorite Boston rapper, I guess after Guru, R.I.P., Ed O.G., and you released an album called Arts and Entertainment, which, you know, came out to absolutely high critical acclaim, and we love it. We play it all the time here on the station and in the studio. Our question, well, it's just a really, I think, you know, underrated, or not really underrated, but because it's rated highly, but maybe underexposed album. And it had you know, we would love to help expose it more. What do you think of the Boston hip hop scene, which is kind of unique?
There's a lot of dope rappers that come out of Boston, from slang to terminology. Obviously, Ed O.G. is the veteran. Jason. There was a bunch of talented artists out of Boston that do their thing, but consistently it's just tough when you're right next to New York, and that's kind of the mecca, and that's where all the lights and cameras are. Sometimes it's hard to get heard, hard to get seen, hard to get recognized coming from some of these cities like Boston.
Maybe that's why Guru moved to New York.
That's definitely why. I think he's even said that in interviews.
Yeah. So just to keep it moving here, in 2012 you released Ma Doom, Son of Yvonne, produced entirely by MF Doom, who was born on another planet. Everyone knows that. What was it like to work with MF Doom?
Well, I didn't officially work with him from the standpoint that, you know, he and I were in the studio making records together. It wasn't that way. Most of the beats on that album, M.A. Doom, most of the beats are beats that he previously had produced for other artists or other projects. Some were instrumentals, some were rapped over. I just basically took those instrumentals, those Doom instrumentals, and created a new project with new rhymes, new song structures for myself. It was really something that was going to just be a mixtape that I was going to throw out for free. And then, you know, Fat Beats, the distributor, got wind that I was doing this project, and they felt like it should be a full official release, not just a free mixtape. And so that's how it turned into what it turned into.
Shout out Eclipse over at Fat Beats. They were smart to do that, because you really kind of bore your soul on that album. And we want to ask you what it feels like, you know, to hear or to have to perform, you know, songs about your mom, and how does that tug at your heartstrings?
I struggle some nights. There's some nights, for one reason or another, where I get a little more emotional and choked up. And I perform the song enough times, you would think I'll kind of be past it. But there's some nights that just, for whatever reason, whatever's going on, you know, I get a little emotional or whatever. But I usually fight through it. If you saw the Tiny Desk, I definitely was struggling through that third verse on that Son of Yvonne song, just because You know, she was living actually in the DMV area. She was living in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and actually worked in DC. So I used to come out there and visit her quite frequently at her home, and we would go to DC and, you know, do cool stuff. And so that's why it all kind of, that day, that's why I got emotional, was because of thinking about all of that.
Yeah, well, shout out Fredericksburg, or as they call it here, the Berg. What influence did your mom have on your music growing up? I remember, for instance, you know, my parents, I was a DJ growing up, and, you know, they weren't really into me, you know, playing thumping hip-hop music in my room at 2 o'clock in the morning while scratching. What was your mom's reaction to, you know, getting into hip-hop?
Well, I didn't really do any scratching in the house, but the influence from my mom came from her record collection. I used to raid her record collection when she wasn't around and when she wasn't paying attention. And a lot of those records are records that I took up to Marley Marl's crib for the purpose of sampling and rapping over. And a good portion of my first album, my debut album, Take a Look Around, a good amount of those samples, those songs are records that were right from my mom's collection.
Can you think of any one in particular that you remember, like, feeling good about putting on record from your mom's collection?
Absolutely. A song called Brooklyn Battles was right from her collection. And the title cut, Take a Look Around, which is more of a poem than a song, but it was from her Gil Scott-Heron album, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. I remember hearing that song and really just being influenced by that song and thinking that it was a cool song and the message was cool, and I wanted to do something like it. So I told my own poem over that same beat that Gil Scott did his poem over.
Did she hear them when you were done? Did you play them for her?
I didn't. You know what? Like, it wasn't like back then. I wasn't like bringing demos home. Like, listen to this that I recorded today. It was more like everything was at Marley's crib, and she heard it when it came out as a completed work.
Right. No, but when it came out as a completed work, did she recognize that it was her record that you had sampled?
No, I don't remember if we had that conversation or not. That's a good question. I don't remember if she was like, "Hey, that's my," you know, I don't remember having that conversation with her.
It's interesting how life comes full circle like that. You know. Anyways, just quickly, last couple questions here that we had so many listeners and so many followers that wrote in questions we have to ask. In 2000, you were diagnosed with MS, and I follow you on Facebook, and you seem to be one of the most active and physically fit people I've seen. How does the MS affect your life, and how does it affect, if at all, you know, your music career?
It doesn't really affect my life very much. The side effects, I take a weekly injection that keeps the progression of the disease at bay. I've been taking that injection since 2000, and the reason that I'm so active is because I know that I have to be, and I also don't know what the future holds for me. So my mentality is, I'm going to use these legs and these arms and this body as actively as I can, because I don't know down the road, 10 years, 20 years from now, if I'm going to be able to do all of those things. So I'm going to do them. And I also noticed that when I'm off my workout regimen, like this past weekend, I was in Milwaukee. So I worked out like the Tuesday before I left, and then I didn't work out Wednesday. I flew to Milwaukee on Friday. No, I did the Wednesday workout. I didn't work out Thursday. I went to Milwaukee on Friday, so I was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, came back Monday, and didn't work out again until Tuesday. So I noticed that when I have that many days off, my body feels like it's weakening. It feels like I don't have the same strength and energy. But when I do a workout like I did today, I feel fully energized and ready to go. And so that tells me right there that I can't sit around. I can't lay around. I can't be idle. I got to keep moving. I got to keep active. And so knowing the way I feel when I don't work out is what motivates me to get out there and to break a sweat.
Yeah.
And to jump around and to be active as possible.
Well, in addition to that, you also look 20 years younger than you actually are. So I'm sure it really helps keep you going. Last couple questions. when I first reached out to you, you were, I think, in Italy or Europe somewhere, and you've done so much international touring. Just real quickly, what are some of your favorite cities to play internationally? And do you have like any crazy stories from playing abroad and being received, like how hip hop is received abroad?
I mean, it's amazing. Some of my favorite cities, there's so many, but Berlin, Paris, Zurich, Switzerland, Oslo, Norway. I mean, there's a bunch of cities in Germany. I said Berlin, but definitely Hamburg, definitely Stuttgart. Germany shows mad love in general.
Yeah.
I just
J-Ru's in Berlin. We had J-Ru on the show a couple months ago. He's in Berlin. AG is out in Japan from Showbiz and AG.
Yep, I heard.
You ever consider living abroad? And if so, where?
I've only fantasized about it, because I'm married. So living abroad would mean that my wife would have to be on board with that idea. So at the moment, it's just something that you fantasize about. You're like, oh man, it'd be cool to just, or not. I can't say it would be cool. It's more like I wonder what it would be like. How would it be different?
Right.
What especially when you look at the landscape of America and things that are going on, it's like, damn, maybe there's someplace better.
Well, first of all, with everything that's going on, I'm sure there's a lot of places better. Our very last question has to do with the incredible producer Marco Polo, who I think we've realized is rumored to be producing your 7th solo album. Is that true?
Yeah, that's going down. We're 15 songs in.
15? Wow.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're just waiting on one last feature to be finished. And we're waiting on DJ Premier. We have one DJ Premier track that we need to get mixed. And that's just a matter of time. Premier's been busy, but I actually might call him when we hang up.
Wow.
Because I'm thinking, so I might call him when we hang up and just say, what's going on with that record? Because
you already know that track's gonna be fire.
Yeah. So the whole project's gonna be 16 or 17 tracks.
Well, 15 by Marco and then the one Premier joint.
Right. Well, that's incredible. And do you have a name for it? Should we be on the lookout sometime soon?
We're still having a tug of war over the title, so we're not there yet. We've been bouncing around. I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say until he and I are totally on the same page with it.
Okay, well, let me tell you, the last thing we want to close with is that, we do these interviews because legends like yourself have a rightful place here in the Hip Hop Museum. And in addition to sitting on Chrome, signed by yourself, and more records, and maybe I'll get with you offline about digging through those boxes, is there anything you can impart to young people trying to make music? What would be the one piece of advice you would say in trying to persevere in today's music climate?
I give this advice quite often to young artists trying to make it, and that advice is make music your plan B. Have a plan A, whether it be college or a career or a trade, and make music your plan B. And the reason I say that is because music is like a lottery ticket. It's the same thing as saying, well, I'm not going to go out and get a job. I'm just going to keep playing lotto until I hit.
Right.
The odds are that you're not going to hit. And so while you're running out trying to play the lottery every single day, waiting for that payday might not come. And in the meantime, you're 35 years old, still sleeping in your mother's house, looking like a bum. And so that's why I always try to tell guys, because that's the route I went. Music was plan B for me. I was going to go into advertising. I was going to be I was going to write TV commercials and print ads for big companies and do all this cool stuff in that arena. Music just kind of popped for me. It was something that I liked and I did, but it wasn't. I didn't have all my eggs in that basket. So it was like a blessing that it worked out. But had music not worked out, had I not gotten the deal, gonna be fine. I had a degree, and I was I had a resume. I was about to go out there and start trying to get me a job at an advertising agency. So that's gonna always be my advice: make music your plan B.
Well, those are brilliant. That's a brilliant word, and we want to thank you so much for being on the program. If our fans and viewers want to support you, what's the best way they can support you? Where can they purchase the shirt, and how can they purchase music and whatnot?
I do mostly everything over social media, whether it be Twitter, which is at Masta Ace, MastaAce, or Instagram, which is Masta Ace Pics, PICS. You can also hit me on Facebook on my fan page, which is Masta Ace Official. Any of those ways, I'm constantly posting information on how to make purchases. If you buy a shirt, if you buy a hat, if you buy some music, you're gonna get it directly from me. I'll be the one going to the post office mailing it out. That's grassroots, and that's how I still do it.
And can we invite you to the Hip Hop Museum when you are here next in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do that. I was talking about bringing my family out to the Black History Museum.
Yeah, the African American History Museum. So we not only work with them, but we also work with the Kennedy Center. And Q-Tip, as you know, is curating incredible shows over there. We will definitely talk with you offline about getting you into the Kennedy Center and having you perform. Because that's just only right that we commemorate your career in that way. So thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. I'd love to do all three, so let's talk offline.
Absolutely. Well, you have a great weekend. And Masta Ace, everybody, give him a round of applause. Woo! Okay. Let's go to a quick break here, Jay. And on the other side of the break, we will get to the hip-hop unboxing, okay? So everybody stay tuned. You can go to, let's go to that MF Doom and Death Wish. The MF Doom we played already, yeah. Let's go to that real quickly. And on the other side of this MF Doom, we will be doing the unboxing with Diggable Planet's first album and Black Sheep, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Stay tuned!
Too strong for tugging spirits. Guess everything is fair in love and lust and lyrics. Kinda fed seeing suckers hide behind the bread, to the point that the hammer be behind the head. Fire kid, hang cocky sense of power, think they running shit. By the hour dissipating into nothingness. Villain up in there, split through the bottle is empty. It won't go to waste, zero empathy. Strong for tugging spirits. Guess everything is fair in love and lust and lyrics. Kinda fed seeing suckers hide behind the bread, to the point that
Oh my God, it's happening, you guys. It's really happening. It's the Hip Hop Unboxing right here on District Spotlight. This is a big one. Okay, this is incredible. Well, I can't believe that our unboxing, B-Dub, is gonna make sense with our guest. Okay, so I am Jeremy Bieber, CEO and founder of Listen Vision, with my DJ, the one, the only
B-Dub the Boy Wonder.
Okay, first and foremost, I just want to show you guys this. Have you ever seen more stamps on a package? Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, look at all those stamps. This is from Australia. Shout out the good people in Australia. And let me tell you, Masta Ace's second record label, Delicious Vinyl. We have a shirt? No, it's not on set. This is going to make sense in a second here. Okay. So coming in from Australia, we have something that was never sold in stores.
Let's see if we can time this right.
It was never sold in stores. Oh, you're going too fast. It was never sold. You suck. It's never sold it. It's never sold. Oh God. Oh God. Oh wait. Oh God. I don't want to cut it. I don't want to cut it. Oh my God. I'm gonna cut it. Oh God. The Australians, they're great at barbecuing shrimp, but not so good at packaging packages.
On the Barbie.
They packed this on the Barbie. God. All right, here we go. We're gonna do this. Do it.
Let's go.
And
delicious vinyl.
this is a delicious vinyl jacket. If Masta Ace, if you're still tuned in, buddy, this is. I think this was only given out to staff. They didn't actually sell. It doesn't even have a tag in it. Jeez Louise. Wow, that's incredible.
No, Jay, you cannot wear that.
That's incredible. All right, delicious vinyl. Man, I love when our unboxings somehow make sense. Okay.
What do we have next?
We're gonna do the small things first. That's for you.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to the big. We got gold awards. Look at this. Everybody's sending us stuff in their packages. Where's that coming from?
Coming in all the way from Fulton, Maryland.
Oh, that's quite
Fulton.
a distance.
Let me see what you got here. Hold on, give me 1 second, Fulton. The age of the customer. Okay. Oh, hold on. Does this have anything to do with?
Wow. This is
our hip hop museum.
This is not the.
So.
This is not part of the hip hop museum.
Not at all. Okay.
But You're a Customer.
Your Customer
was a great EPMD record.
Yes, sir.
Guys, here you go. Bam! It's gone. Off our set. Somebody take that. Interns, please.
And he just bumped the DJ
Grab
booth.
that crazy book. Who knows? Maybe it has significance. Just not to us at this moment. Ooh, look at this. Oh, this is great, you guys. Oh, this is so great. This is so cute. So we have every single Funko Pop doll. Every single hip-hop Funko doll. How do I say this? Every single hip-hop Funko doll. Does that sound right? Okay.
No, you're going to have to work on that one.
Except, well, this is Chuck D. Now we have Chuck D. Look at that, guys. Zoom in. There's Chuck D. So he's very expensive, but now all we need in our collection is Eazy-E. Okay, and we have a whole bunch of these. They're really exclusive. Biggie, Tupac, Run DMC. Come to the Hip Hop Museum, 2622 Georgia Avenue, to check out all of the incredible memorabilia that we have. And I don't know what this last one is, but I'm guessing it's a record. I'm not sure what makes me say that. Okay, coming in from Rocky Point, New York. Rocky Point, New York. Ooh, wow. Oh, okay. Y'all just folded that and sent it to us, huh? You didn't want to roll it up? All right, well, whatever. Here we go. This is incredible. And this goes with the rest of our Yo MTV Raps collection here. And it makes sense that it's on this show. I need your help, Vito.
Look, this is delicate. We couldn't get that before the drum roll, all right? There we go. Bring us that. Who's the man?
And look at all...
Everybody.
Look at all the people that were featured in this movie, okay? Go. You do AG, Bernie Mac, Big Bub, Apache, Fab Five Freddy, Bushwick Bill, Moni Love, Dennis Leary, D Nice, Colin Quinn, Humpty Hump, KRS-One, Fred Braithwaite, which is Fab Five Freddy, Heavy D, House of Pain, P-Rock Seal Smooth, Cool G Rap, Salt and Peppa, Duff, Cypress Hill, Guru, Leaders of the New School, Flava Flav, Joe Lisi, Bow-Legged Lou, Queen Latifah, DJ Polo, Ice-T, Naughty by Nature, Yo-Yo, Run DMC, Bill Bellamy, Chris Cross, and back to Apache, and of course, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. One of the greatest kind of hip-hop comedy whodunit movies ever. Thank you for folding that back up. Okay. We have gotten We've gotten all the little things out of the way. We're going over in time, but it's okay because we have something big.
Got your attention. 2 gold plaques, legendary hip-hop albums. Black Sheep, Diggable Planets, coming up now.
All right, here we go. I don't know which one's which. Look at this. So this is coming to us from, what does that say there? Hoboken, New Jersey. All right. There it is, everyone. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this plaque because it's kind of fat. Yeah, Black Sheep. Gold. Who was it presented to? Jeff Brody. All right, Jeff. All right, Brody. Gonna have to figure out who the Brody is. Brody. There you go. Look at that. All right. So we'll just hold this on. Okay. Wow, that looks beautiful, huh? Chris from Trouble Funk is in the building. Greatest go-go band of all time. Wait, what? Who said that? Yes, I said it. Hip Hop Hall of Fame inductee.
Oh my God. That is really bubble wrapped down. Someone made sure that really stayed really protected. Coco, you are not getting your hands on this over here. I know y'all capture damn ladies like bubble wrap. You guys are not getting any. All right, let's go.
Diggable Planets, Reaching, their first album, gold plaque, now resides at the Hip Hop Museum, 2622 Georgia Avenue. All right, this has been an overwhelming episode. We never expected to have one of the most incredible purveyors of organic, real deal, Holyfield Hip Hop since 1988, Masta Ace. We never expected to have a guest like that. We did. We never expected to have gold plaques from Black Sheep and Diggable Planets. But we did. And we got through the entire show, and here we are. B-Dub, how do you feel? Oh, and Chuck D.
I feel great. I feel great waiting for Freestyle Fridays, which you know is coming up next. So.
Freestyle Fridays is coming up next.
Yes, sir.
If people want to hire you to DJ their bar mitzvah or bris or quinceañera, where can they find you?
Everything at djbdub.com. I appreciate you guys.
Okay. And I am Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision. And this has been District Spotlight every single Friday at 5. Until next Friday at 5, I'm going to say peace.